Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew, too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Año Nuevo, los mismos Extra Value Meals en McDonald's. Ahora te puedes llevar 2 snack wraps y papitas y una bebida mediana por solo $8. Solo por tiempo limitado. Precios y participación pueden variar. Los precios pueden ser más altos en Hawái, Alaska y California y con entrega.
Welcome back to the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and today we're going to do something a little different, everybody. I came across an Instagram page the other day called the Baroness Biblothecarius, and you know me, my listeners know me very well, and they know that I am a book nerd. I love books, absolutely love them, especially if they are about the paranormal, the obscure, cryptozoology, anything, absolutely anything underneath the Fortean umbrella. Well, I'll tell you what, this Instagram page is exactly what you're looking for if you want to follow books under the obscure. Again, that is Baroness, Baroness _ Biblothecarius. That is Biblothecarius. Now, I highly, highly recommend anybody that is a fan of the Infinite Rabbit Hole to go ahead and follow this page because they do a very, very good job at introducing you to some of these incredible pieces of work. And today, I have Nilanjan Dasgupta, who is one of the members. They are a brother-sister duo who runs this Instagram page, and he is joining us from Asia right now. Now, he is originally UK descent, and I'm sure he'll dive a little bit more into that. One other new thing that we are doing today, he is on a cell phone, so we are basically doing this over a call. So please be aware that some of the audio may be a little hard to hear, but just hang tight and trust me, he's got a great story to tell. Because if it's anything like the page that he and his sister run, his sister's name, by the way, is Marciel Elva. So if you have any questions for them, by all means, head over to their Instagram page and ask away. They were very, very welcoming to me when I reached out to them and asked them if they want to come on the show. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you travelers to Nilanjan Dasgupta. Nilanjan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely. No, it's my pleasure. I look forward to this. So let me tell you how I discovered your page.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah. So you actually follow the Infinite Rabbit Hole, and you had liked one of my pictures, and of course I was like, "Ooh, Biblothecarius. That sounds like books." So I went and checked it out, and I was blown away by your collection of books that you have on the page. It is absolutely incredible. So I guess my first question for you would be, how did you start this absolutely awesome collection that you and your sister have started?
So basically, this entire page in Instagram was a passion project, but that was started by me and my cousin sister, who unfortunately couldn't be here with us today because she had to teach English to orphans over here. We currently moved over in Asia from the UK during the COVID lockdown. So it was a passion project because that we started during the COVID lockdown. In our Ever since we were kids, we were always fascinated with the unknown, with the otherworldly things like that, things which were not really explainable by normal scientific means. And thankfully, I've had parents who are rather helpful and extremely supportive of both me and my sister's pursuing of the subject. So they provided me with the very first books about these kind of topics. Books which are I quite believe that the audience over here are well aware of. The things like Bernard Evilman's cryptozoological are the books like On the Track of Unknown Animals or
Yes,
Eric von
Bernard
Daniken's
Hoyleman.
Chariot of the Gods, things like that. So initially, when I used to read these books, the first thing that came to my mind is, oh my God, they never teach these things in school now, do they?
No,
Why? Why?
that's incredible, isn't it?
Exactly, and the most astonishing factor I would say is the fact that the common public, the average worker, or people like you and me, who have to work, who go out, make friends, go to school, perhaps go out with their friends after work to enjoy a drink, or just live their daily lives. They are unaware that an entirely other reality is moving past them,
Oh,
which
yes.
would completely change their minds if they would just look at it. It's quite humbling, actually, I would say. And dare I
I
say,
believe
it's a
so.
bit trepidating as well for the common public, because those who don't know about it, I'll give an example later on as we progress about a friend. I would rather refer to him as a friend because I have known him for over 5 or 6 years now. How his entire worldview shattered and overchanged in a single night because of a single incident.
Yeah. So can you explain that incident?
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure to do so. So it all started in 2022. And
Yep.
trust me, this is an oral source. He was the one who told me about this entire fiasco that he had to go through. So
Hmm.
this is I unfortunately can't attest to the authenticity of the things, which I'm quite aware many of the people would ask for. So you just have to. I personally have just taken his word for it.
Yep.
So the thing that first struck me was that this is not like your run-of-the-mill paranormal encounter. This was not him mentioning that he came across a humanoid reptilian or a flying saucer that he saw or some other poltergeist or a shadow person or things like that. No, this was
Hmm.
a completely different thing, and personally
Wow.
something which I have never heard of. So there was this pine forest near Taiwan, and
Yep.
my friend, his name is Ashok. He's of Indian descent, and he went there as an English teacher. So after a few days, after starting class and everything else, one day whilst returning home, he was with another person, mind you. So they were just returning home, and a jackal, fox that is, crossed their way.
Yeah.
And the other
Wow.
guy, through us being the, I don't know what crossed his mind. Personally, some people are just, he pelted a stone at the said creature. It just turned and looked at him and yelped away. Now the funny thing is, ever since that day, my friend returned back home as usual, and the day continued as per the time. The next day, the his colleague, the person who threw the stone, that is, he didn't even appear to the school which they were teaching in, and so my friend, being the he cares for him a lot, so he just dials him up and just checking on him. So he said that I won't be coming. I'm just having a fever or something like that. I'm not feeling well. That's the exact word that she said. I'm not feeling well, so I'm just gonna lay for a while and Just wait until the fever subsides or I feel a bit better. But things only got worse from there. Things only got worse. According to my friend, after the school, he went down to visit him. He lived with a helper of sorts, a servant, who used to just look after him, just clean his room and things like that. You won't believe me, he said that within the single night, he has lost about 2 or 3 kgs of his body weight. He was absolutely shivering. He was absolutely
Wow.
shivering. He said, don't open the windows. The first thing he said, you should get some fresh air. You're sick. No, don't open the windows. He will see me.
Wow.
Now his first reaction was, what will see you? You won't understand. So this went on for a few nights. And then the next night, when my friend went over there again to visit him, he was carrying food with him. There's some basic meals, some cakes and cookies and some juice and things like that. Some basic meals, not something elaborate. So the thing is that I'm still getting goosebumps while talking about it because, as I said, this was something which I have personally never come across before. This is completely
Yeah.
unknown. I have never seen something like this or heard about it in this matter. So the thing is that by that time when he went there, he said that he resembled more like a skeleton than a human being. He was absolutely shivering. He was sitting on the bed shivering and constantly jolting away from the window. And the story concludes when my friend leaves out of his house to book a cab or call it a car because that's a rural area after all. So just went out to find an automobile or something like that so that he can just return back home. He heard a loud piercing scream. By the time he entered, his colleague was long gone, passed away. But the scariest aspect was that just as he screamed, my friend started hearing jackals howling as if they were laughing.
Wow.
That's the last conclusion. As if the jackals were laughing, and the last thing he saw was a jackal running away, and he swore that it was the same jackal that guy had pelted before because he had the same broken tail tuft and designs near its fur,
Yeah.
near the
Well,
fur of its tail.
I
Now
got a
I
few
don't know
questions.
personally how that thing counts. Perhaps synchronicity, perhaps something else, because I remember and anybody here would know that synchronicity, as now it's been understood in physics, you know about quantum physics and all those things these eggheads and scientists are finding out now. So things like those, they say that there is something out there that the universe itself cannot happen or exist via accident. Something out there is controlling this thing. And
Yes.
as Carl Jung or John Keel, some eminent researchers, I must say, have stated that
Ultra-terrestrials.
perhaps so, God is a madman. Perhaps the cosmic trickster laughs again at the expense of mere mortals.
Yes, that is something that John Keel talks about quite a lot. I know he's talked about it in Mothman Prophecies. I believe he talked about it in Trojan Horse, and I'm pretty sure he talked about it in
Eighth Tower? Eighth Tower, I believe.
let's see here. I was trying to find it real quick, but yeah, I believe it is the Eighth Tower. That's the one with the
Yes, I believe the book's name is Eighth Tower. It has a pyramid drawn on its cover with an eye inside in the middle. Speaks of the
yes,
ultra-terrestrial.
yes, and it's got the prism colors, right?
Yes, exactly. It was
Yeah,
published in
very
1964. I must say to all the viewers of it, it's an amazing book, absolutely thorough. And I must say that most of his research or his initial views are now getting reflected by the greater scientific community as a whole.
yeah. I have been a long supporter, and I have pushed John Keel on this podcast quite a bit. I know that Danny, who is an avid listener of the show, has went out and bought pretty much all of John Keel's books because of it. And I stand once again saying that if anybody listening to this is into these topics, you need to grab John Keel's books and start reading. Very, very good stuff, very interesting stuff, and you'll learn a lot about the ultra terrestrials and the cosmic trickster that Nilanjan is referring to right now. So you might be able to fill a gap in some of the conversation that we're having right now. I highly, highly recommend it. So how is he today? Is he okay?
He passed away. That very night, he passed away. during that entire fiasco. Now the standard medical report said that he was suffering from an acute case of typhoid fever and things like that. But how can a person die from typhoid fever overnight? Why would a person who was absolutely fine a few days ago be scared of even sitting beside the window? You cannot get these kind of ailments, things like typhoid fever. Yes, I am well aware that in certain cases, the typhoid fever can reach the brain and disturb the
Yeah.
cerebral cortex, causing hallucinations and things like that. But that thing doesn't happen overnight. My basic medical
So,
knowledge tells me that whatever that thing was, it was not normal.
right.
It was not normal by
So,
any chance whatsoever.
um, sorry, I do have a few questions here because this is extremely interesting. How long from the day he first saw this to when he passed?
As I said, it was about 3 or 4 days. About three or
Wow.
4 days.
And you said this happened in Taiwan?
Yes, precisely. It happened in Taiwan. As far as my friend told me, it happened in Taiwan. And as I said,
Now,
I don't have any proof whatsoever for this, but it was a story which I personally believed was rather unsettling, even for me. Even for me.
now I know that jackals wouldn't technically, like, they're not common in Taiwan. They're probably non-existent in Taiwan. But do you know of any zoos or private collections that could have had jackals? I know it's kind of a
Personally, I
stretch.
have never been to Taiwan myself, but as far as I know, it's a common thing in Asia to smuggle in exotic creatures. And Taiwan being an island nation, you would have all sorts of people over there. Perhaps it ran away from an enclosure. Perhaps it was somebody's exotic pet. Perhaps it was a runaway from a zoo. And
Yeah,
as I said, if I was there personally, I would have loved to witness it all going down. But then
yeah,
again, do I really want to see something like that?
yeah. That's right. You could have been
That's the main thing, because
in that same path.
if what my friend told is correct, then we are possibly seeing something so twisted, so utterly dark, I must say, that it very well challenges the human perception and will to its very extremes. And
Well,
dare I say, it would oftentimes leave the survivor or the witness utterly riled up.
one other question. Did he give you a physical description of it, like the color or anything that stands out that may not be?
No, as far as I remember, no, none.
Okay.
He just said that it was a standard jackal.
Okay.
It was just a standard
Um,
jackal. So I assume, mind you, I'm not saying that my friend told me that, but I assume that it would be having a dark brown coat and tufty tail there, as per jackals look
yep.
like.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to make a call right now to anybody listening to this episode of The Infinite Rabbit Hole. Please, if you have any further information on what this could possibly have been, if you are familiar with some of the lore, legends, or the obscure coming out of Taiwan that matches this description, please reach out to me, and I will pass that information on to Nilanjan. I'm sure he'd be very appreciative of that. Well, I'm sorry
Very
to hear about your.
appreciated.
I'm very sorry to hear about your friend's passing. Um,
And
that
then
is it is a very incredible story, though. Very, very, very interesting for sure.
I wouldn't say that it sounds interesting, because even after hearing that, my initial reaction was, "Oh my God, this thing is not normal." And if
Yeah.
anything, my first reaction went down to, I would like to recommend another book in this brief moment. It's the
Yep.
Great Yokai Encyclopedia by Richard Freeman. And why I recommend this in this particular topic is rather relevant, I believe, is that many of the viewers would know that in Japanese mythology, that is, in the Japanese folklore and even Chinese folklore, and in the greater Asian continent also, that is away from the mainland and even the certain archipelagos like Indonesia also, there are talks that jackals and foxes oftentimes have supernatural powers attributed to them. Now, I'm well aware, sir, that you're aware of the kitsune of the Japanese mythology.
Yep. Kitsune, that's a fox. Yeah.
Yeah, these
The
things,
nine
they are
nine
known to
tails.
play tricks on human beings, and they're oftentimes very malicious. They would attack people, they would devour their livers, mind you.
Yes.
And they oftentimes, now the most interesting aspect comes up, they oftentimes inflict serious illnesses, as shown in various Japanese mythologies and stories.
Yeah.
So perhaps we're seeing something. Perhaps it was an incident which truly reflects and shows us that there is more to mythology than we would love to believe.
So I'm looking at your cover here for this yokai encyclopedia, the Great Yokai Encyclopedia, by it looks like Richard Freeman with illustrations by Anthony Wallace. I'm seeing right off the bat, I'm seeing a kappa, I'm seeing a Yokiona. It looks like a serpentine dragon. I'm not too familiar with that legend there, and man, I know what that bird is. There is a bird with human hands.
It's called the Karasu Tengu. It's actually a sort of Tengu, which is half crow, half human.
Yes. So this is the A to Z of Japanese monsters. Highly recommended by Nilanjan here. And I just added it to my Amazon cart, so I'll have it here soon too.
That's amazing. So the thing is that while I was looking at the Kitsune lore, even after listening to his story, so I immediately opened and searched in the Kitsune lore, and something very interesting came up. I would like to show it to you as well. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Let me check out the page.
Okay.
I'll just show it to you. Can you see it? Can you see the image?
No, not very well.
Just a moment.
Oh yes. Okay. There you go. I'm. Is that somebody? Is that a kitsune?
It's a story about a person beating up a fox, and after a few days, he dies from a fever. Sounds familiar now?
Ah, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So,
Wow.
after reading this, I was absolutely shocked. I must say, I was absolutely shocked that, oh my god, this thing actually just recounts as a complete carbon copy of the said incident which he relates. And I would like to show the photograph picture again, just for confirmation. Here you can see the person beating up the fox. There it
Yep.
is. He's beating him up
Yeah.
with a stick, and just a few days later, he's a goner.
Wow. Very interesting stuff. How far are you away from Taiwan?
Well, currently as I said, I'm in Darjeeling in India, so it's quite a bit of a distance.
Okay, so quite a way. Got it. Wow, very, very interesting. Good stuff. Very, very good. So let's revert back to the topic of your Instagram page for a little while, because that's why I reached out to you, right? I'm just gonna play fanboy here because I love books. I want to get your thoughts on some things. What is your favorite book on cryptozoology that's not this great yokai encyclopedia?
So there are plenty of them actually. So it's very hard for me to pick up a particular one, but I would like to refer a few of them, just a few of them.
Yep.
Starting with Cryptozoology A to Z by Lorraine Coleman. It's an absolute
great
must if
book.
you're into cryptozoology.
Great
The
book.
second
Yes.
one would be the Cryptozoology Encyclopedia by Michael Newton. By the
Yep.
late Michael Newton, I must say. He sadly passed away a few years ago. And the next one would be by all the I could say that all the works of Carl P. and Schuker is absolutely flawless once it comes to cryptozoology. But the one which I personally like the best is Unknown Animals by Carl P. and Schuker. Lesser known Unknown Animals.
Yes. Very, very good book as well.
And
Awesome.
another one that there is, if the person likes a bit more, wants to introduce their kids or younger readers into the said subject, another great book is the Wiser series for children. They have an entire encyclopedia curated for younger adults, so people below 14 or 15 years of age. So they would absolutely love the illustrations over there. The Wiser Field Guide to Cryptozoology. So yeah, those are absolute musts, I must say, because they are absolutely amazing. The information there is flawless. And another one there is, which is a bit lesser known, is Mirabilis, again by Dr. P. N. Schuker. Mirabilis, why I'm recommending Mirabilis, because it has a cryptid which is rather close to my heart. Because I had some personal personal history, I must say, with that particular cryptid. That cryptid is the Megalodapis edwarsis, or the giant lemur from Madagascar.
Yes. Wow. That is awesome because it's very rare that I meet somebody that has in-depth knowledge about cryptozoology, and I haven't since I've been doing this podcast. I haven't heard anybody refer to that. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Gosh, I can't remember the book I was reading. I was reading something. It's over here somewhere. I'm a little
I
ill
believe
prepared
that the
right
book which you're referring to, just a hunch, the best one about Madagascar by in Malagasy cryptids is Dr. P. N. Schuker's Mirabilis. It has a cover of various, as if it's a circus display with various cryptids in various cages and everything else in displays.
That sounds. You said Schuker. I do have a couple Schuker books
Dr.
over here.
Carl P. N. Schuker.
I can't find it right now, but it's probably exactly the same book that I have. I lose track of the books I have because I have so many of them. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes. All right. So what about you? You had mentioned before we started that you're also not just into the paranormal, but you're also into a lot of the internal stuff. Some of the stuff.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why my Biz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with my Biz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit Verizon.com/business to get started today. New lines only. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes auto pay and paper-free billing and promotional discounts. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge. Applicable add-ons, prices, and terms apply. Guarantee applies to base monthly rate and stated discounts only. Add-on prices additional. Offers in March 31st, 2026.
Having to deal with psyche, like near-death experiences and deja vu and stuff, correct?
Precisely. So, apart from the paranormal, I have a massive collection of books that deals with emergent technologies, that previously seemed like they belong in science fiction. If we are talking about time crystals, quantum computers, cybernetic organisms, nanomachines, things like full brain modulation, brain enhancements, which now Elon Musk has proved to be very real by Neuralink and things like that. All sorts and all forms of technological advancements and gadgets, genetical manipulation as well. We now know that we can bring back long extinct creatures. As we speak right now, there is a dedicated team of scientists trying to bring back the thylacine, the woolly mammoth, the dodo, and recently we even have things go belong and people bringing back the Boscardo and things like those. So just imagine, I sometimes just sit back after reading these books and just for a brief moment look outside my apartment window and just think, my God, how would somebody from the 1860s or the 1850s would have reacted to our current world? Would they be scared? Would they be fascinated?
I think that they would be scared. I really do. I think that if you apply the modern world alone, not even the stuff that's bringing back animals like CRISPR-Cas9, I think just the modern world would be enough to. Most of the population that would be around would be terrified. I do believe that there would be plenty of them that would be extremely interested, but I believe that it might be more of an information overload for them, unfortunately.
I mean, just look at a jetpack, a common jetpack. How
Yeah.
would which we now have the UK Army, the British Army actually is deploying jetpacks to certain infantry members, creating a for special force unit that specifically uses that said device. Even invisibility camouflages. Recently, only a few days ago, a Canadian firm recently launched another new and better yet designed invisibility camouflage, which again applies Maxwell's law by bending the light particles so that the person who is perceiving it doesn't see the thing that's behind it. So
Yes.
how would something like this appear to say your run-of-the-mill guy from 1860s London? How would they see it? Wouldn't it be like magic? Would it actually terrify them? I would say.
I think so. I think, like you just said there, I think a lot of it would be looked at as magic, and it would be viewed more on the evil side of things than anything.
Perhaps it brings us to that old saying that Arthur C. Clarke, another individual who initially was a skeptic of various things like this, but later turned into a believer when various things that he witnessed came true, like this book particularly over here by him, which I grabbed today. So he's attributed for saying a very famous quote, which I'm, with your permission, which I would like to reshare. So he said that any unknown or unseemingly technology, which is very modern, would appear as magic to someone who doesn't know about it.
So what's the name of that book right there? So any listeners could...
This one over here was a rather old book. It was published in 1972, I believe. So this one is called The Mysterious World by Arthur C. Clarke. It was this book over here is actually it's based off a TV show that that was broadcasted by the BBC late in that same year, and it was quite of a modest success back there in the UK. So much so that an entire generation was turned into these topics by this series alone. This Unsolved Mysteries by Robert Stack's another one of my personal favorites, I must say, and there are several of these shows there which dare I say, which actually influenced me in my youth to look into these subjects. And now looking back, I must say that I was a rather strange child, but at least to my peers and classmates that I would say.
No worries, you're at home here in the Infinite Rabbit Hole. You're exactly the people we love. I actually have a book by Arthur C. Clarke that I haven't read it yet. It's just sitting over on my shelf. It's called Rendezvous with Rama. Have you ever read that?
Rendezvous with Rama, I think I have a copy of that as well. And I must say that, and I must apologize to all the viewers over here as well, because I've got a massive to-be read list over here. As you can see behind me, this is just a section that is yet to be read.
Yes.
And it's just piling up day by day. Each day I go out, I see something that attracts my intrigue, and I'll just pick it up and say that, oh my God, I need to read this. But
yes.
I almost forget that there's a massive pile sitting back at home that's waiting for me to just start up. And that has been sitting over there since, since the COVID lockdown. Each day I go out, I find a new book and just grab it. So it's a never-ending dilemma on my behalf.
I don't know if you can see, but I also have quite the collection here.
It's absolutely amazing, I must say. I absolutely love the rack arrangement over there. It's absolutely flawless.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into it. Well, no, you're definitely somebody that shares a lot of the same interests as me, and that's kind of why I wanted to highlight your Instagram page, because I mean, I just found it. What, 2 or 3 days ago we started talking, and
precisely, I would say, give or take a few.
My Amazon to read list has grown by probably about 50 books. It's and it's all thanks to you. So I do appreciate what you do, and it's nice to see some of the books that I do have, that I do read, that I do talk about here on the Infinite Rabbit Hole, and see what you have to say. It's very, very good stuff. So what about, so we talked about cryptozoology, we talked about some
I
of
would also like to bring into nation a tiny little thing which oftentimes new people who are often getting into cryptozoology gets wrong initially. A few wrong impressions. I would like to
Yep.
address them as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's often seen that people who are new to cryptozoology, young people that is, uh, or even some fellows of my age, they oftentimes attribute supernatural creatures like, say, the Skinwalker, the
Yes.
Wendigo, or things like that as cryptids. Well, I'm sad to say that that's actually not true.
Yes.
Cryptozoology, as Bernard Heuvelmans, in its absolute rawest form, that is, in its true form, cryptozoology is a study of hidden animals. So this has to be flesh and blood creatures. Uh, now many people would say that what's a cryptid then? Well, a cryptid can be anything. If an antelope shows up over here in Darjeeling, that would be a cryptid because that's outside of its natural territory. How the hell did
Yep.
that animal end up over here? That's technically a cryptid. So the giant whales catfish in the rivers of Spain, which were introduced, they're cryptids technically. They're out of place animals. There's an entire section about them in cryptozoology. They're known as upas, or out of place animals.
Yes.
Apart from that, there's another facet in cryptozoology which many people would find interesting, and I personally do very much because, as I said, the Malagasy giant lemur is one of my favorite cryptids. It's the Lazarus taxa, or extinct animals, which are not really extinct. They still lurk over there in the depths of unknown forests or grounds, just waiting to strike. But we assume that they are extinct. And finally, there's the entire fiasco about unknown species, new species, which is absolutely amazing because do you know, the only last night I was checking, we discovered 179 new species last year alone. And in the last few months, 69 of them, 69 new species in the Amazon alone. And these are not small species by any means. There's a giant anaconda bispecies that's now been stated to be the largest living snake over there. How could it be? And how could we be so foolish the mainstream can be so foolish sometimes that they say that they know about every single animal that's out there? I would say that's an exaggeration at its best and an pompous arrogance at its worst.
Yes. It's absolutely incredible. I think there's a lot going on that the world doesn't know, and that's kind of like what we've been trying to do here on the Infinite Rabbit Hole. We cover news every once in a while. We actually are due for a news episode here soon. We haven't done one in quite a while, and that would be a great one to cover. I have not really dove into current science and the current discovery of new species, but that is extremely interesting stuff. I am aware that nearly every day we are discovering at least a new species, and like you said, they're not always like a random tiny tree frog in the rainforest. Sometimes it is a giant snake, right, or something along those lines. Like the gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but there was a form of deer that was discovered a few years ago
in Vietnam.
Yes, thank you. You're very, very educated on this stuff, and I really do appreciate that. That is absolutely incredible. No, I echo your stance on cryptozoology. I have a section back here for cryptozoology, and I have a section back here for urban legends, and I have a section back here for mythology and lore, and also spirits in another section. And I think
spirits particularly, in spirits particularly, there's something which I would like to mention as well. So, oftentimes people think that ghosts in general, or spirits, as one said, these are just made up things, and people just oftentimes just brush them out without even addressing them and things like that. It's a common fashion for a few years now. But now science is slowly changing. We are starting to understand the consciousness and the brain as a whole. Only a few days ago, a very interesting subject was discovered, I must say. The interesting subject is that even after dying, a person's brain is perfectly active. And another thing, I don't remember the exact quotation where I read it. It was a medical journal. I would be very thankful to anyone who can forward me the exact location of the of the original scripture, that a person after dying, a certain amount of inner weight is automatically deducted in the person's body, and oftentimes mechanical clocks and things like that stops working in the dead person's vicinity.
Yes.
Another interesting aspect of that is, I think, are you aware of the case of Frederick Myers by any chance?
Frederick Myers, is that the neurologist who dropped into a coma because of an amoeba?
No, actually, Frederick Myers was the founder of the parapsychology department in London. Now,
No,
he
then
was a skeptic, mind you. He was a very
yeah.
hardline skeptic. But after this person died, things changed. People often, a group of persons oftentimes channeled him. Now, Frederick Myers, you can read about him. Another book I would love to mention in this part, if anybody is interested in the case of Frederick Myers, is the book known as Other Worlds by Brad Steiger. Brad Steiger, a very well-known figure, I
Yes.
must say. I loved his
Very.
book. So,
Brad Steiger has multiple books on multiple different subjects, and he is by far one of the heavyweights when it comes to the obscure. I highly recommend anything from Brad Steiger.
yes, so Brad Steiger in that book, Other Worlds and Other Dimensions, it's an old book, I must say, but even after being old, it stands appropriate for the current things which we are discovering. So Brad Steiger said that recounts how people often channel Frederick Myers. Frederick Myers described the afterlife rather differently than most theology or most religions like to describe it. He didn't use words like heaven or hell or things like that. No, he said that the afterlife is like a ladder. Each time our lifespan ends in a particular ladder rung, the consciousness elevates to another ladder step, slowly going up to a higher dimension, which now many people would say is similar to the string theory, which many theoretical physicists apply, or not even if not string theory, the greater theory of panpsychism, which now is gaining a major traction in Europe amongst theoretical physicists, that the universe in itself is a living being. And I don't know whether you watched that show by Morgan Freeman known as Through the Wormhole. It's an absolute classic.
Very.
So
I hope that the listeners today are hearing what you're saying, because this is exactly why I wanted to have you on this show. Very, very, very educated person you are there. And, I just, once again, thank you for coming on the show, because
no. I would like to expand my personal gratitude as well, because it means a lot for me. I'm a massive fan of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Absolutely flawless videos by capturing information and details that even I oftentimes use for my research in various books and things. Things which I don't usually find in books, I can find them in the videos. So I should be the one thanking for having me here today.
Oh, no, absolutely. Very, very happy to do so. And, I appreciate the conversation that we had today. I also appreciate the conversation that we've been having previously, and right before the show, you had some really amazing stuff to say. I want to encourage you to keep going with this. I also I really want more of my listeners to follow your page, and I don't push pages very often, right? I don't. But when I find something that I truly, truly, truly do appreciate, I was telling my co-host the other day, actually, there's a lot of pages that I follow on Infinite Rabbit Hole. There's a lot of pages that I follow on my personal Instagram. I'm not a big Instagrammer, but your page is now probably the very first thing on Instagram. Not to say that I'm not really interested in other pages that I follow, but I really do look forward to your submissions because of your recommendations in books. So by any means, anybody listening here today, you have my recommendation to follow Nilanjan and Marciel's Instagram page one more time. That was Baroness Biblothecarius. Highly, highly recommend. If you can't find it, head on over to the Instagram for Infinite Rabbit Hole and check out who we're following. You will easily be able to find it there. Nilanjan, do you have any projects coming up that you would be interested in sharing or anything else?
Absolutely. Actually, yes, I do. And I believe that it's something which I have been working for a few years now. One would be very much aware of creepypasta or the SCP Foundation or things like that, collaborative fiction. It has taken the world by storm ever since it has dropped. So I am currently in the process of creating a larger novel or graphic universe of my own. But unlike creepypasta or SCP Foundation, this will be not based entirely on fiction. This will tackle actual Fortean subjects, organizations, entities, creatures, people, objects, cursed locations. Yeah, everybody knows about Atlantis, Lemuria, or Agartha, but how many knows about Irem, the missing city which is oftentimes known as the Atlantis of the desert? Not many people would
Yes.
know about that. Not many
Wow.
people would know about the giant Codex Rexus, the giant manuscript that's entirely bound by human leather, and oftentimes people are not allowed to touch it. The Codex Gigas, the Ripley Scroll, things like this, many people would not know. But once they know about it, they would be very much intrigued. Apart from that, secret societies, everybody knows about the Illuminati, everybody knows about the Freemasons, everybody knows about the Knights Templar, but not many people know about the nine unknowns, the nine unknown men who were selected to be the hold information and knowledge that can help humanity rather than destroy it. So oftentimes we don't see the theme of a benevolent secret society. We oftentimes see them as malevolent, antagonistic organizations who are out there to harm human society. But there are many secret societies out there which are actually doing the opposite. They want to help humanity. So my personal project, which is known as Uncoded, it comes in two parts. One will be titled Uncoded, and the other would be titled Believe. So this will be a large collaborative fiction work, which I'm working with some other authors whom whom they say that they would not like to mention their name right now, but they're grateful, and they would like to provide their work before they're mentioning their names.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will feature an entire tapestry that would extend from the beginning of human evolution, from the beginning to the current age, and even follow into the near future. Which is another fun aspect, because I will not be just blatantly providing information about would-be future things like no. I will take the ideas from known futurists like Nick Bostrom from Oxford,
Nice.
like
Very good.
like Professor Michio Kaku,
Yep.
like David Hale, persons like those who can predict the future, and oftentimes are predicted so with uncanny accuracy, like Michio Kaku's prediction of quantum computers, or Nick Bostrom's accounts of the artificial general intelligence, not super intelligence, but general intelligence, has come to fruition in the last few years. So these will tackle these subjects as well. Apart from these will tackle other extreme subjects of reality, like the multiverse, higher dimensions and everything. But unlike, say, the Marvel multiverse or things like that, I will not use fictional accounts, but I will use actual physics models to create different multiverse. Now, many people would think that the multiverse is, or would know that the multiverse is just like the string theory or things like that, but that's not true. There are other sets of multiverses, like the Over the Horizon multiverse, which is just the universe that's beyond the observable universe. There are universes which are often hypothesized to exist within black holes. There are universes inside quantum matter. Even there are universes which can be created by humans. Can you believe? There's another book that I would love to recommend in this particular topic about man-made universes, which sounds utterly ridiculous, I know, but trust me, as we are seeing, as the days go by, that many of the things which we once considered ridiculous are just turning out to be strangely true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that book is known as a Big Bang Inside a Small Room. I'll repeat it again. It's known as Big Bang in a Small Room. It's an amazing book. It tackles the subject of how humanity can create an actual pocket-sized universe.
Yeah. The pocket universe is actually something that I've learned is very highly researched. Also, I like you said, you will be diving into the world of fiction here a little bit to introduce the world to some of the more obscure topics, which I find absolutely amazing. But if I could take a second real quick and introduce the listeners to a book or a book series by Sixth and You. The Three Body Problem, The Dark Forest, and what was the last one? Oh, Death's End. In Death's End, they talk about pocket universes, and it's very, very, very interesting stuff. The whole series is absolutely incredible. And I don't know if you've read it. I don't know if you're into fiction books, but the Three Body Problem series is just mind blowing. By far one of my absolute favorite fictional series I've ever read. The fourth book is written by a different author. It's called The Redemption of Time. And it's personally, I do not believe it's on the same tier as the first three by Sixth and You. But these books are written by a Chinese author and translated to English here in the United States. So some of it is a little strange to read because the translations don't work very well. But it's very, very minute. You don't really even notice it if you're reading through. But yeah, so Nilanjan, very exciting stuff that you have coming up, and I like what you're doing. I like everything. I like the Instagram page. I like the idea of introducing people to some of these extremely obscure topics that are actually taking place in the world around us, with a lot of people not realizing it. And I think it's a very, very, very good way to introduce these topics to the world. So my hat's off to you, sir.
Oh, no. I'm just merely doing this because I personally believe that people have a right to know. Everybody has a complete right to knowledge. Knowledge should never be hidden. Knowledge should be available to all, So I would like to share a personal incident. When I was a child, my father oftentimes told me a certain quote of his. He said that a book that belongs in a person's hand, not in the stand, not in the library. It belongs in a person's hand. It deserves to be read. It deserves to be loved. It deserves to be understood. Every word inside a book deserves to be known by everyone else out there. It doesn't deserve to just sit in a shelf and just collect dust. It deserves to be known. That's what I'm trying to do, and hopefully, God knows, I'll put my effort in just to see if everything becomes successful or not.
Very good. Very good. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Do you have any other platforms that you guys are currently working off of, or is it just the Instagram page? Just
Well,
so anybody
currently
can
we're
find
just
you.
doing it on Instagram, but me and my sister, we actually plan on creating a Twitter handle, which will act as a news source of sorts, which will present news formats, research papers, latest news, latest podcast, latest in books and things like that. It's a mixed bag really of things of obscure things and otherworldly things with information and with actual resources and actual evidence getting posted on Twitter.
Very good stuff. I look forward to that, and the people who are interested in following that can pay attention to your Instagram. I'm sure there will be an announcement there for them to be able to migrate over to Twitter for you. All right. Well, Nilanjan, thank you very much. This was very, very good, and I do appreciate you coming on for the first time that we ever highlighted a social media page.
The pleasure was all mine. It's an extreme honor and for me and both my sister, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But I must say that I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity that has been provided to me. And I'm a big fan, as I have said before, of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. And I'm looking forward to all the new videos that comes up.
Well, thank you, sir. I do appreciate all of that. All right. Well, that's it, travelers. That's all we have for you today. Once again, follow Baroness Biblothecarius over on Instagram. Very, very interesting stuff, especially if you're into the world of obscure books and obscure topics. That's pretty much it, travelers. Until next time, I'll see you in the next fork in the path of the infinite rabbit hole. Goodbye. I would like to thank you once again for tuning in to the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Please make sure to give us a follow and one of those beautiful 5-star ratings on your podcast player of choice. If you would like to join the conversation and stay up to date on all things Infinite Rabbit Hole, head on over to Facebook and search for the Infinite Rabbit Hole Facebook group. You'll know it's us when you see the logo. If you would like to help contribute to the cause, there are a few ways to do so. First, head on over to anchor.fm/Infinite Rabbit Hole and click on the subscribe button, where for $5 a month you'll get access to all our old episodes that will never see the free spotlight ever again. It's horrible stuff, but if you're into that kind of thing, then go check it out. Second, head on over to InfiniteRabbitHole.com and click on the IRH merch shop tab and grab yourself a sweet t-shirt, sticker, or whatever else you see that you wouldn't mind owning. Until next time, travelers, I'm Jeremy, and I'll see you at the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.